Hi, thank you very much for allowing me this spot on the virtual open mic night. My name is Tim Prasil, and I have a little story that I need to tell to set this whole thing up. It happened about 5 years ago. I was over at Iron Monk, the brewery, having some what I call me time, which is my way of saying drinking alone. But anyway, it was middle of August. It was summer, and I remember it was very hot, typical Oklahoma August day. In through the door walks this guy wearing a great big hat and a heavy coat. It's like 100 degrees out, and he's got this heavy coat on. I figure he must be from someplace even warmer than Oklahoma. Of course, he sits down next to me and we start chatting. He introduces himself. His name was Bertram Lucius Zachary Bubb, B-U-B-B. I remember that. For some reason, he knew that I was an English professor. I teach over at OSU. And he pulled out this old, yellowed, brittle manuscript. It was of 100 limericks. He told me that these limericks were written by Edgar Allan Poe. Now, I was pretty skeptical about this. Edgar Allan Poe just doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who would write limericks. And yet, if these were 100 limericks written by Edgar Allan Poe, that could make my career. Long story short, they cost me a lot of money. I did get a book out of it, so there's that. In the 5 years since, I've never been able to figure out if they've been written by Edgar Allan Poe or if they were not written by Edgar Allan Poe. There's an argument on either side. I actually put the whole story, the detailed story, and the argument for and against in the introduction of this thing. But let me end that story and then I'll jump back to the future. There I am sitting with Bertram Lucius Zachary Bubb, and I'm willing to pay what was an awful lot of money for these limericks alleged to be by Edgar Allan Poe. And he pulls out a contract. He was ready. He was ready for payment. He didn't sign his name. He didn't sign Bertram Lucius Zachary Bubb. He just put his initials, BLZ Bubb. Anyway, I did get a book out of it. Okay, next story. Jump 5 years into the future. We got a pandemic going on. Actor Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard, is every day on social media. He's posting himself reading a Shakespearean sonnet. I figure I got all these limericks supposedly written by Edgar Allan Poe. I'll do the same. And that's what you're about to hear. Some of the limericks that I've been reading day after day. If you'd like to see more of them, my name again is Tim Prasil. It looks like Brazil with a P, Prasil. Look for that, or look for Brom Bones Books. That's my publishing company. Okay, let's take a look at a few of my limericks. Misquothed. Ascribe the mistake to the devil, or how sound can rebound off unlevel floor. That talkative bird was simply misheard. The raven was pagin' a Neville Moore. The last laugh. I launched a new theory on Icarus, though some will declare it ridiculous. Instead of warm wax, the feathers are facts. Made vicious were Icarus ticklish. Poe gets a little bit autobiographical in this one. The title is Don't Fear the Messenger. Some shout that I'm surely delirious. His fables of murder are serious. More rational balance reveals that my talents are merely in knowing what eerie is. A flair for composure. When folks said Bernard was unhinged, his cool self-control was impinged. And after the arson, Bernard met the parson to calmly confess he had singed. If you've ever read Edgar Allan Poe's Some Words with a Mummy, this might ring a bell. This is titled Some Worries with a Mummy. Midst antediluvian dunes, sarcophagi bask like cocoons. O mummified sage, divulge to this age, has time made us kings or baboons? The Mask of the Dead Guest. The body behind the hall wall keeps causing the portrait to fall. I guess he's upset, but that's what you get for snubbing my masquerade ball. On the mental propensity to embellish. As lightning is followed by thunder, so terror will strike, and next wonder. You gasp at the spirit, then tiptoeing near it, the cat leaves the curtain it's under. I confess that this limerick I'm about to read is, even though I wrote it myself, it's one of my favorites. It's called To Cinderella's Stepsisters, and it comes with a footnote. Let me read you that first. In some versions of Cinderella, the stepsisters cut off parts of their feet in the hope of fitting the glass slipper left behind at the prince's ball. Their eyes are later plucked out by birds, a plot point that might have appealed to Poe. To Cinderella's Stepsisters. My odious ode needs a synonym, with syllables sliced to a minimum. Like toes being slit from feet that won't fit the slippers I'm waltzing my rhythm in.